All right, so then I'm going to be reacting to types of people after high school. And it's definitely going to talk about like the people that be dropping out, the people who just go straight to college and they already know what to do, the people who take a gap year, the people who think they're an entrepreneur, so they try to go do that. So I'm gonna try to see what type of person I am, like in what category I fall into, if that makes sense. So yeah, let's just get straight to it.
You did it. You graduated. You survived 4 years of awkward class presentations, school lunches that probably violated the Geneva Convention, and your Discord group chat did not get leaked. But now you're out, you're free, and suddenly that question hits like a truck. So what's next? Some people sprint toward college like it's the finish line, others clock into a job 2 days later like, yep, this is life now. And then there's the rest of us just sitting in our rooms like, should I start a podcast or a pyramid scheme? Let's talk about it. The types of people after high school and how weird this phase of life actually is. Starting off, we have the college dreamer. These are kids that always knew they were going to college. They had a dream school, a major, a life
Nah,
plan,
yeah.
a backup plan,
I definitely knew some of those people that would just have college. Just they already knew what they wanted basically.
and a backup for their backup. They got their dorm set up off Pinterest, joined a Discord server for
Of
their class
Pinterest.
before orientation, and had their roommate's name memorized before they even graduated high school. Fast forward a few weeks and it's like, yeah, I'm 14 grand in debt, I hate my major, and my roommate's been coughing since the second week of school. College is cool if you know what you're doing, but most people don't. Most people just go because they're told to by parents, teachers, guidance counselors, and the ghost of the American dream, and now you're paying 40 grand a year just to cry in a communal bathroom. Fun times. Then there's
Nah, yo, those college is so expensive. It's crazy.
the people who skip college and go straight into the workforce. They start working warehouse jobs, retail, construction, whatever gets the bills paid. They're making money, stacking checks, and eating out every night because they still live at home and only have 3 bills. At first it sounds smart. You're making money right away, no student loans hanging over your head, and your weekends are free if you're lucky. You start thinking, hey, this might actually be a better path. But then the reality sets in. The hours are long, the pay isn't as life-changing as you thought, you're constantly tired physically and mentally, you go home drained, you wake up drained, and every day starts blurring together. You're surrounded by people twice your age who have been there since before you were even born, and they'll say things like, it's not great, but it's a job, or at least it's stable. They're not chasing anything, they're just surviving, and then that's when it hits you. This isn't a launch pad, this is where people stay, because they don't have time, energy, or options left to go anywhere else. It becomes routine. Wake up, commute, work, home, sleep. Do that for the rest of your life, with maybe 2 weeks off per
Nah, that
year
is
if you're
scary. That is so scary to have a lifestyle like that. Like that's traumatizing. And the fact that some people are just perfectly okay with that, just being okay with having a life like that is
boss approves the PTO. And for a lot of people, the scariest part isn't even the job itself. It's the idea that you could blink and suddenly be like 40, still there, still stuck, wondering what
Yep.
your life could have been if you'd done something else. Then there's that person, the one who said, I'm taking a gap year. Not because they couldn't go to college, not because they had a plan, but because they needed to find themselves, to travel, to breathe, to experience the world. You ask them where they're going and they'll hit you with, I'm thinking Europe or maybe Southeast Asia. You know, go off the grid for a bit. 6 months later, they haven't gone further than the local Taco Bell. They wake up at 2 p.m., scroll TikTok for 3 hours, and then tweet something deep like healing isn't linear. Their idea of working on themselves is watching 3-hour video essays on YouTube about movies they've never seen. They downloaded Duolingo to learn French but stopped after bonjour. They keep saying they're gonna start a clothing brand, and they did design one hoodie in Canva that they haven't posted because they're waiting for the right vibe. And listen, there's no shame in taking a break.
I mean, not gonna lie, I feel like that's just most people. I feel like a lot of people these days would just take that gap year and not spend it productively. They think they are, but they are not. In reality, like he just said, just scroll on TikTok for fucking 2 hours and stop Duolingo when they learn like 1 or 2 words.
Haven't posted because they're waiting for the right vibe. And listen, there's no shame in taking a break. Sometimes that time off is necessary, especially if school has burnt you out. But the problem is this break becomes your whole life. You know, 1 month becomes 3, 3
Becomes your
becomes
whole
6,
life.
and before you know it, they've
That's the problem. And then most people that take a gap year, their whole year or 2 years could just fly by and they haven't done anything. They haven't gotten a job. They haven't learned any new skill. They haven't earned no money. They haven't done nothing like at all. And that becomes your whole life. And then sooner or later you realize it and you try to lock back in, you try to lock in, and it's just gonna be way harder, 10 times harder.
Built a full routine around doing absolutely nothing. Wake up late, stare at a wall, play some Valorant, hit up their local gas station for dinner, and
Yep,
repeat. But they'll keep saying, trust me, bro, I got plans. And when you ask what those plans are, it's always vague. Big things coming. I'm in a building phase right now. No, you're not. You're in pajamas at 4 p.m. They'll talk about launching something like they're Elon Musk, but the closest thing they've launched is a DoorDash order. They keep referencing the
literally.
economy like it's the reason they haven't made a move yet. Like, I mean, with inflation the way it is right now, bro, you don't even pay for gas. What are you talking about?
That is most people in Gen Z right now. Most people, most especially teenagers, bro. That is how they act and speak. That's just how they think. Everything, he couldn't have explained it any better. Yeah, just be wasting a bunch of fucking time.
Out. And look, we've all been there to some extent. You know, the weird limbo phase. You're technically free. You don't owe anyone anything. You're just kind of floating. And for a while, that can feel amazing. You're not answering to teachers. You're not stuck in a classroom. You're not dealing with exams or deadlines. But if you're not careful, that float becomes a free fall. You stop making decisions. You stop trying. And you convince yourself that you're waiting for the right moment when really you're just scared to start. Gap years are fine. Resting is
Yes, gap years is fine. And if anything, I would recommend for people to take gap years. The problem is that most people do not take advantage of it. And that is the problem. But if you take a gap year and you actually take advantage of it and you actually take it serious, it could benefit you in so many ways. It's crazy. It's crazy.
fine, vibing is fine, but if your gap year turns into a gap decade and your life plan still revolves around a clothing brand that does not exist yet, maybe it's time to clock back in. Next up, we have the friend who straight up disappears after high school. High school
Oh
ends and this
my
person
yo.
vanishes like it's a Marvel post-credit scene. One
I'm
minute they
dead.
were at every hangout, every group
That
chat,
is
every
true.
chaotic late night Discord call, then poof, they're gone. They stop replying, they leave the Snap
Yep.
group chat without saying a word. They're not mad, they're not beefing, they just dipped. At first you're like, maybe they're busy, but then weeks turn into months, birthdays go by, inside jokes get forgotten. And the next time you think of them is because Instagram reminded you with one of those weird people you may know stories where they're standing in front of a Jeep with a quote like, only forward from here. Then one day out of nowhere, you run into them. Target, gas station, Taco Bell, doesn't matter. And it's the weirdest interaction of your life. Oh my God, how have you been? Good, I'm just working a lot, grinding. Yeah, grinding what? No one knows. You're half expecting them to tell you they're a freelance monk or something. And the thing is, they're not weird or rude or distant when you see them again. They're chill, they're polite. It's like catching up with a coworker you forgot you used to
Yes.
be best friends
That's
with.
actually true, bro. That's what the people that disappear is exactly like that. There's just no beef. It's just calm, chill, but they just randomly just despawn out of nowhere, just vanish.
You part ways with some, awkward let's hang soon energy, knowing damn well it's never happening. And it's not a bad thing really, it's just what happens. People drift, they move towns, they get new jobs, new circles, new priorities, but it still hits you sideways when someone who was in your life every single day just becomes a memory. You start realizing how many
Yeah,
friendships
that's
were based on
crazy.
proximity, not purpose. Y'all weren't soulmates, y'all just sat next to each other in biology for 4 years. And it's weird because when it happens, you think you did something wrong. Like, did I say something? Did I forget to reply to something important? No, they're just on a different path now, and that's okay. It still stings, but it's okay. Eventually, you'll be that person to someone else too. You'll vanish from their life, pop up months later. Yo, it's been a minute, DM with no explanation. And that's just how life moves after high school, Friendships stop being automatic. You actually have to put effort in, and if neither of you do, that bond just fades. Not out of malice or hatred, just out of life. Sorry, I'll try to keep it lighthearted, not to get too existential with you guys. Alright, next up we got the bum. There's the gap year
The
person,
bum.
and then there's their final form, the bum. Because the gap year person pretends that there's a plan. The bum, they're not even pretending anymore. They're in a deep void, no goals,
They
no
don't give a
job, no
fuck no
plan,
more.
just vibes, vape clouds, and a mattress on the floor. Their sleep schedule doesn't exist. They just collapse at random. They've watched 8
Their sleep schedules doesn't exist. They go to sleep at random. They wake up random. Yo, it's- I know so many people like this. The bums. Oh, bro, it's so funny because
a mattress
I feel like we could all relate to this because we have all definitely been in a phase where we are just like that. just a bum.
On the floor. Their sleep schedule doesn't exist. They just collapse at random. They've watched 18 seasons of Grey's Anatomy this month alone. Every day is just a blur of TikToks, microwave burritos, and nah, I'll do it tomorrow. You ask them what they're up to and they'll go, just chilling lately, trying to figure stuff out. Bro, it's been a year. What are you trying to figure out? Shapes? They'll randomly bring up business ideas that sound like fever dreams, like I might start a CBD candle line. I've been looking into like vending machines and passive income, you know? You look over and they're watching a 6-hour YouTube documentary on crypto by a guy named Finance Daddy. They haven't applied to a single job, not because they're unqualified, but because they haven't updated their resume since 10th grade when they worked at Chuck E. Cheese for 2 weeks. And here's the thing, it didn't start this way. Most of the time, the bum used to be the gap year person. They took a break to chill and they just never got back up. It's like when your computer goes into sleep mode but never wakes back up, that's them. It's being stuck in like a permanent loading screen. And that's kind of the post-high school lineup. There's definitely some people I haven't covered, so 10,000 likes for a part 2. Whether you're in college pretending to take notes on a Zoom class or working 10-hour shifts debating if a Costco membership counts as an investment, you're not alone. None of us know what we're doing, and the ones that do, they're probably faking it better than the rest of us. Everyone moves at their own pace. Some people jump ahead and crash. Some fall behind and catch up later. Some disappear and come back with a beard and a business. But no matter where you're at, just don't get stuck. Don't let temporary become forever. Don't let comfort become your cage. And definitely don't convince yourself that burnout means you're just mature. That's not maturity. That's just poor hygiene and caffeine addiction. So take your time, take a nap, take a risk, but whatever you do, don't take advice from that one guy selling a $97 course on how to escape the Matrix. Okay, goodbye.
Nah, yeah. But yeah, he couldn't have said it any better. Everybody moves at their own pace, but just don't waste your time. Like, just don't stay in this phase forever of just doing nothing. Just a bunch of nothingness. Just a bunch of unemployment as activities. Just wait. So I just noticed that he made the part 2. So I'm gonna watch it right now. I just noticed. Luckily I went into his channel. Oh yeah, let's watch the second part.
I said 10,000 likes for a part 2. Y'all hit me with 12 like it was nothing, so we're back. High school's over, but some people never got the memo. Some disappeared off the face of the earth, and some turned into full-blown adults overnight. And some are still acting like they're late to 3rd period. So this is the types of people after high school, part 2. Let's get into it. Starting things off, we have the one who got hot. This person went from a yearbook background character to main character overnight. In high school, this person was either invisible or fugly. Now they're a walking thirst trap. You blinked and they hit a glow-up montage straight up out of a Netflix original. The girl who got hot, used to be low-key. The hoodie up, messy bun, never talked. Now, full-blown glow-up. She figured out makeup, skincare, gym, fashion, everything. She's posting just felt cute selfies that looks like they're out of magazine covers. Every guy who ignored her is now in her DMs like, we should catch up. Sweating, smiling emoji. And she knows she got hot. She's not cocky about it, but the silent confidence is dangerous. You see her at a party and you're like, wait, was she always this pretty? She wasn't. She evolved. Dudes who used to curve her popping out like, remember me? Yeah, bro, she remembers. She ignoring you on purpose. She went from, can I borrow a pencil to, how does she already have 80K on Instagram? And then there's the dude who glowed up and it was like in high school, this guy looked like a soggy breadstick. He had a bad haircut, so many pimples on his face. These pimples were probably in a Discord call talking to each other. He wore the same hoodie every day like it was a uniform, said maybe 5 words a semester.
He wore the same hoodie every day like it was a uniform. That shit is so funny, bro. Oh, bro, that used to be me. Oh man, the same hoodie every day like it was. Yo.
Then he graduated and became a problem. He started lifting, grew a beard, got a low taper fade.
That low taper fade, like, meme is, dude, it is still massive.
Massive.
Learned how to dress. Now he looks like a walking Instagram explore page. And hey, no homo, obviously, but hey, I mean, he's killing it, all right? I mean, you check his socials, it's gym pics, clean fits, and thirst traps with 0 caption. The craziest part, he's still chill, he's still humble. You can't even hate, you just gotta dap him up and be like, congrats, bro, you're getting bitches now. Next up, we got the military guy. You blinked, and suddenly this dude was in uniform. Didn't say goodbye, didn't post about leaving, just vanished and popped back up, saluting a flag in the middle of a desert desert. Now his entire Instagram feed is just flexing in camo and squinting into the sun. Captions like, new scenery, same mindset, US flag. You're in Kuwait, calm down. Always trying to recruit you on Snapchat like it's a side quest. Bro, you ever think about joining? Great benefits, travel the world, real discipline. No man, I get winded walking to the mailbox. Also, I'm not built for boot camp. I physically groan when my DoorDash driver has trouble getting into my building and I have to get up out of my bed. And somehow this guy's turned into a full-blown motivational speaker. Wakes up at 4 a.m., takes cold showers, does push-ups on gravel for fun. Went from being late first period every day to calling civilians soft. He posts a pic holding a rifle with the caption, earned, not given, like he didn't fail sophomore algebra. And yeah, he's a little intense now, but low-key, he found his thing. He's got a purpose, a routine, a jawline. You can't even hate. You just scroll past his posts like, damn, good for him, but please stop trying to enlist me, bro. Next up, we have the spiritual awakening. This person went from high school gossip to full-on crystal healer. Used to start drama in the group chat. Now they're starting their mornings with gratitude journaling.
I feel like that's just every girl these days. Like well, not every girl, but most girls definitely have to do some weird shenanigans like that.
And turmeric shots. They say things like, Mercury's in retrograde. That's why my ex came back and my tire popped. Every day it's a new moon phase and a new personality. They post Instagram stories with soft piano music and captions like, protecting my peace. They do breath work, burn sage, talk to rocks, and give off the energy of someone who's either deeply enlightened or slowly losing it. 1 month they're Buddhist,
but
the next they're...
One thing I have to say is like, this guy did his homework. Like, he knows every category, like, so well. I mean, obviously, it's not, like, a hard thing, but he just... The way he just explains it and just knows about every single category, he knows what he's talking about.
Microdosing in Costa Rica with a guy named River. They treat astrology like a blood type. Sorry I ghosted. I'm a Pisces rising with a wounded Venus. They talk like they've been through 7 divorces and 4 lifetimes. Always posting blurry sunset pics with captions like, letting go of what no longer serves me. You ask how they're doing and they hit you with healing. You don't know if they're talking about their soul or a sinus infection. But hey, at least they're not toxic anymore, just deeply confusing. Like, are they okay? No idea, but their aura is apparently immaculate. Next up, we have the I'm not like them girl. She moved into a big city and came back acting like she studied abroad on Mars. One weekend visit and she's like, ugh, everyone here is so small-minded. Starts her sentences with, in New York, ... Like she's been there longer than 6 months. Her wardrobe now looks like a thrift store exploded. Oversized blazers, platform shoes, weird little bags that hold nothing. Every iced coffee is a moment.
Tell me a sound that's better
Though the
than
amounts
this.
of girls that I've seen like this, they'll fall into this category.
She takes pictures of her oat milk latte next to a book she hasn't opened with captions like, slow mornings. You ask her how she's doing and she goes, I've just been healing lately, similar to the spiritual girl. But this bitch has nothing to heal from. Almost always a product of nepotism, and when she's healing, that's just kind of code for coming down off of a certain substance. She uses words like international, aligned, and soft girl era, like she's running a wellness retreat, but she's just working retail and crying in the break room. Says she doesn't believe in capitalism, but charges $45 for crocheted earrings on Depop. She looks at you like you're still stuck in your hometown phase while she's reached some sort of higher plane of existence, like, oh, you still live here? That's adorable. All right, enlightenment Barbie. You live in a shoebox and call it intimate. We're not the same, and that's fine. Just stop acting like you invented emotional growth. Next up, we got the conspiracy guy. This dude took 1 gap year and came back a philosopher with Wi-Fi. Now, every conversation somehow leads to, nah, bro, you gotta look into it. You're talking about Chipotle and he goes, you know Bill Gates owns most of the farmland, right? He thinks the government is watching his notes app, keeps his camera covered with tape, won't use Siri, refers to Amazon as them, said college was a scam before he even got accepted anywhere, still lives with his mom but swears he's off the grid. He's like the male version of the spiritually awakened girl, but instead of crystals and moon water, it's encrypted group chats, telegrams, and YouTube rabbit holes. She thinks she's guided by the stars, he thinks he's being tracked by satellites. She posts posts astrology memes with sparkles. He reposts screenshots of tweets with captions like, "They don't want you to know this." He refuses to drink tap
I
water and
feel
keeps saying, "Just wait till it all collapses." Somehow always half right, but also deeply concerning. You don't know if he's enlightened or just severely online. Still, low-key, he's kind of convincing. Until he says that, like, birds aren't real. Then it's like, okay, bro, thanks, good talk. Next up, we got the overly nostalgic one. They talk about high school like it was the golden age of civilization, still bringing up prom like it was the happiest they've
I feel
ever
like I'm
been.
part of
Man,
that.
nothing will ever top that. Okay.
I kind of fall into this category, but not fully. Just a little bit. I am more of a nostalgic type of person, though.
Bro, it was a rented suite and lukewarm chicken tenders. They'll be randomly saying things like, "Senior year was just different." Like we weren't all stressed, sleep deprived, and failing math. Still quotes teachers like they were philosophers. Still wearing the same class ring. Still start sentences with, "Remember when we," like their entire identity is locked in a gymnasium from 2019. They treat high school like it was a movie, but really it was just like acne, awkward hugs, and people lying about what they were doing after graduation. Everyone else moved on. This person is just paused. And the worst part, they don't even realize it. They think they're holding on to memories, but really, they're stuck. Last but not least, we got the guy who turned into a podcast. He graduated, bought a
podcast
mic,
guy.
and started talking like Joe Rogan possessed him. Every sentence starts with, "Not enough people are talking about this," even if it's just about air fryers or dating apps. Suddenly, he's a life coach with no credentials, says stuff like, "Discipline is greater than motivation," but he like wakes up at noon, talks for 90 minutes straight about the grind set for 5 Spotify listeners. He doesn't have convos anymore, just monologues. You try to catch up with him and he says, "Bro, let's save this for the pod." No thanks, bro. Some people find peace after high school. This guy found a ring light and a mic. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Let's try to
ring
get
light and a
10,000
mic.
likes again. I can't promise a part 3, but I'll appreciate it nonetheless. All right, take care.
I'm dead. Well, there you guys have it. Part 1 and part 2.
But yeah, let me know which category you fall into. Are you the bum? Are you the one that takes the gap year? Are you the one that just randomly disappears? I'm definitely the one with the gap year. I'm the one that is taking the gap year, but is trying to actually benefit from it and trying to take advantage of it instead of just saying, "Oh, I'm gonna take a gap year and I'm gonna just try to figure it out." But then in reality, they're not really trying to do anything and they just waste a bunch of time. I'm actually trying to do something. So yeah, just leave down some comments. What do you think? What category you fall into? And with much love, thank you for watching.